Welcome, everyone. My name is Cecile. I am the CEO, Creative Director of Mommy Evolve, where we discuss intergenerational healing and self-care. And today I am talking about my experiences recently and some of the things that I realize that I have to work on more deeply within myself to transform my relationship with my daughter. So I'm being very honest and very real about the way that the way that my child is perceiving the interaction. So see, this is the dance. So sometimes not just with our children, but with anybody. So sometimes we feel like we're doing things a certain way just based on how we've always done it. And the person that we're doing that to is perceiving it as something that it doesn't work for them in their personality, the way that they are. So for example, I'm a Capricorn. Okay. So I could be very straight, direct. I don't necessarily like to interact and talk a lot. And we know that parenting requires a lot of talking. It requires a lot of preparations, a lot of thinking around things. And I'm pretty good at doing that. But for some reason, for some relationships, you don't feel like you need to do that, right? So you think that your mate should just know. You think that your children should just know, right, what you're thinking. When the truth of the matter is that you need to communicate with them so that they fully understand what it is that you need from them. And you need to communicate with them oftentimes in the way that they receive information, not just the way that you can give information. So it requires you to have more of a 360 view when you are in a relationship or when you have children. You have to understand developmentally what children need, but you also have to understand astrology, because as I said, I am a Capricorn, so I can be very like this. My daughter is she was born in March. She's a Pisces, so she's very sensitive. She needs a lot of nurturing and coddling. And that's something that I've constantly been negotiating between myself and her, because I'm kind of like, just do this. And she's kind of like, no, I need this. Or I'm going to act out a certain way for you to get my attention, or so that I can get your attention the way that I need it. And that's literally what happened recently. And so when we're talking about intergenerational healing and self-care, we're talking about really unpacking your mindset around certain things that you've learned as a child, maybe even some things that you learned as an adult that you thought were important, or that you thought were efficient ways of communicating. And I'm telling you, your children can and will trigger you in so many ways, because they are trying to bring out, this is my theory, that they're trying to bring out those things that possibly need to be healed, or that you need to see within yourself in order to create a different legacy for yourself. And when I say legacy, I'm not just talking about financially, I'm talking about emotionally, spiritually, mentally. Okay. And so we have to constantly do this dance of negotiation between what we think we know and what we want from our children, and what they need and what they think they want from themselves. And so this is my story. My daughter has been telling a lot of fibs lately. And in developmental psychology, we know that children lie, adults too. Lie because they're trying to please the person that they're lying to, right? And so we know that children in my daughter's age group, she's 10. She is definitely in the stage where she's, has her little independence that's pulling off. She's developing her own, but she still has that need to please mommy. And so when I ask her questions and she tells me lies, and then I find out that she's lied, of course it upsets me, because I feel like, I'm communicating in a way that gives her the openness. And she has been open, and she, has talked to me openly about various subjects, right? But in this case, when I asked her, I literally woke her up early in the morning. I told her, I don't like the fact that you're telling all these lies. It's not a good foundation for you to think that you have to lie to anybody about anything, about yourself or about things that you did. You're ashamed of something for some reason. And so I told her, I need you to write an essay or something about why you think that you're lying. And so she wrote that she felt like I wasn't paying enough attention to her. And so therefore she would lie so that I wouldn't get angry at her. Yes. I work from home, and oftentimes when she's home, I'm working. When she comes home from school, I'm sometimes not here because I'm out doing something regarding working. And now I can get into a whole mishmash of conversation around the working parent and being around your child, and how what your child wants most is your attention and energy, which is honestly, it is absolutely true. And I see that, she's calling for more of my energy and my attention, and that's perfectly fine, because that's what she needs. But at the same time, I had to tell her that lying to get that attention is not necessary, nor is it effective and efficient. If you feel like you need more time spent with me, then say that. But lying is not a good foundation for you to set to get what you want. It's manipulation. But I also had to call myself out and see how, based on my history of having a parent who worked and overworked, how that is playing into my ability to set situations where I don't have to overwork in such a way. And quite frankly, your children are always, there is nothing that's ever going to be perfect between the parent-child relationship. The best thing you can do is keep an open communication. So I am very thankful that that level of communication is open with her. Like, she felt like she could say that to me, because I know growing up, I didn't necessarily feel like I could say those things to my parent about how I felt. Now, as an adult, of course I do. But when I was younger, no. Right? And so I'm thankful that that can come out, and it can come out in a certain way. So now I'm thinking about, the ways that we interact, and my being more conscious and mindful of how I pull her into the activities that I do at home, how we can spend more time together, etc. Okay? And maybe scheduling that in so that it's consistent and not compromising on that, just like I do with my self-care, my physical self-care. Now, this is a part of a next level of the self-care that I have to incorporate and do. And so I think that this is a great, very vulnerable conversation around parenting, and how we oftentimes get into these spaces of going, running, and expecting our children to just deal with it because, well, I'm providing for you, when the truth of the matter is that there's so much that you can provide with them mentally, spiritually, emotionally, when you take time to spend time with them and be more intentional about the things that you want to teach them. Don't just throw, just like today, I put up a post about the tools that we use, in our work. So we may, use aromatherapy, we may use crystals, we may use astrology, and all of that is great, but somebody can give you that information and you have no idea how to use that information. So you have to be very intentional. As a parent, you are a teacher. So you have to be very, very intentional. And I thought that I was doing that because she's in the home with me, but I need to do even more to make sure that the basic foundations are laid for understanding. But these kinds of situations are not bad. They're just teaching points. You're learning. And so it has turned me within myself to see how I need to be more intentional, even more intentional with how I interact in personal relationships. And so I think that that is a powerful lesson in parenting and a powerful lesson in really understanding the constant going back and forth and the communicating and the nurturing that you have to do with yourself as well as with the other person, and not be afraid to receive feedback and then find ways to incorporate new ways of being. This takes a lot of you removing your ego. It takes a lot of you nurturing yourself and being very clear about some of the things that you may have received and some of the things that you may not be clear on, that you may not be incorporating. It also requires you to be okay with what you don't know. Because when things come up, you have to be very confident that, listen, I am doing what I can at the moment, but that's also a lesson for children, right? That your parents do what they can, right? And that when they don't know what to do, sometimes it can be a clash. There's a lot of different levels to this and some navigation points, because sometimes parents need to separate, or children need to separate from their parents so that they can kind of clear their mind and get very clear about what they need, because sometimes you can't. It's like being in any bad relationship. You're in that relationship and you're living under the expectation of that person. You need to kind of pull away from that person so that you understand what it is that you need very clearly. And then you can come back to that relationship with an understanding, a deeper understanding of yourself. Of course, when you have young children, you can't do that. So you're in the mosh of it all. So you as a parent have to be very self-reflective and very dedicated to your own nurturing and your own self-care, and really think about what it is you want to create in the situation. And I want to create a close relationship with my daughter that is full of open and honest communication. And so now I have to do what it is that I need to do in order to nurture that situation. And so, yes, there are things that I'm going to have to change within myself in order to be clear that there will be shifts within her as a result. And so this is just one of my my revelations. I have them all the time, and I said that I'm going to record them more. I have another one coming up about how a young boy that I am a caregiver for has really healed my ability to be more playful and in the moment. Okay, that I'm going to share that with you all soon. In the meantime, if you check out my shirt, Mother of Self, Generations, Visions. Don't mind the fact that I have some water stains on them. But you can find that shirt on my website if you go to my t-shirt shop, Evolving Inspirations.spreadshirt.com, and you can get them in different colors, and you'll see other items there as well. It's a powerful shirt for you to remind yourself that you are the person that is in charge of your own destiny, and that you can make the shifts in yourself to make shifts in your family for things to grow and evolve and move forward. We don't have to stay stagnant in whatever the story was that was given to us. Okay. So with that said, please visit my website, www.mommyevolve.com, and find out more about doing private coaching with me. I am taking on private coaching clients at this moment. And also visit my shop where you can find different tools, natural herbal pads for your menstruating, your newly menstruating or menstruating child. I think it's also a great way to teach young boys about the woman's body as well. That should be on the table, of course. and in a positive way, teaching them about the body in a positive way. That's a whole nother conversation. I'm gonna do another video on that. Anyway, I look forward to connecting with you. You can connect with me on all social media platforms as Mommy Evolve. And I look forward to connecting with you. Look forward to my Mommy Friends Collective. We're having a meeting starting tomorrow, another one tomorrow. So I look forward to seeing you there. All right, and you can learn more about Mommy Friends. I'll put all of these websites and information in below the video. I look forward to talking to you again soon. And drop me your comments. What do you think about this conversation? And you can be honest, okay? It's a conversation. I'm not here to argue with anyone. Have a wonderful day, everybody. Take care. Bye-bye.